Brought to you by Remington Rand, makers of the revolutionary new Remington Rolectric, the only shaver that shaves both the heavy beard and the hidden beard in absolute comfort. Now let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose Voice of Broadway appears in papers from coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And I'd like to welcome back a guest panelist who's always a delight to us, and I'm sure to you, Jim Backus.
And now a young lady with a gleam in her eye, Miss Arlene Francis.
Jim. And now our publisher panelist who has just returned from visiting his son at Deerfield, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
Superb panel moderator, the man with the polysyllabic vocabulary and the velvet whip, John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Tonight, some very interesting people and some interesting occupations. In fact, one of them so interesting, panel, that you can begin to mask yourselves, because we're going to depart some of our normal customs. We'll also have a famous mystery guest before the panel a bit later in the show, and we'll meet our first challenger in just 1 minute. And now, panel, the blindfolds all in place?
Yes, sir.
Let's meet our first contestant. Will you come in and sign in, please? Splendid. Fine. You come with me and sit over here. You're familiar with our scoring system, are you? That's fine. In that event, let's let everybody in the theater, except my friends on the panel, and the folks at home, know exactly what your line is. Panel, we'll give you one bit of help. Our guest is self-employed. With that, let's begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Is there something entertaining about what you do?
No.
Small conference, please.
Yeah.
We have had a small conference, Miss Francis, and so that you may not be misled, our guest is willing to agree with me that the answer to that question is definitely in the affirmative.
I thank you.
In the affirmative.
That's
Yes.
what I call a real fast switch. Do people watch you perform?
Yes.
Do you perform in association with other people when you are being watched?
Yes.
Are you quite young?
Yes.
Are you a little boy?
Yes.
Do you perform with other little boys?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
When you perform, do you perform in some place where people sit in an audience, like a theater or an auditorium?
Yes.
Do you work with possibly your parents or one of your parents?
Yes.
Now, wait a minute. Small conference, please. Bennett, we want to be perfectly fair.
Oh, I'm sure you do, Joe.
You have had an affirmative reply which we are loath to change in any definite way, but in this case we have to. The answer to that last question, do you work with one of your parents, is no. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, are you under 12?
Yes.
Are you under 10?
Yes.
Would anyone on this panel have ever seen you doing what you do you think?
No.
Small conference, please.
Very unreliable witness.
our guest has agreed that we will change the answer to the last question from no to it is possible.
Oh. I mean, he doesn't entertain secretly.
No, he doesn't entertain secrets.
Do you move about when you do what you do?
No.
Yes.
I think that I would have to agree that taking the words literally to move about, the answer is properly no. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Backus.
Are you in any way connected with a television program that is a contest of some kind?
No.
That's 4
Well, there
down
goes
and
the
6
kid
to
that
go.
writes.
Yeah.
The moving finger writes and having writ moves on, and you've had it, Mr. Backus. Miss Francis, 4 down and 6 to go.
Are there any animals in your act?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Do you ever appear in some kind of a costume or uniform?
Yes.
You do,
This is in a broad sense.
in a broad sense.
Yes.
You mean
He's in a broad costume.
Are you equally well known in all parts of the country, or do you have special fame in some special section of this country?
Well, that's hard to answer yes or no,
Well,
Bennett.
are you equally well known, would you say, throughout the nation?
Yes.
You are.
Well,
I've never had so much trouble with words in my life. Bennett, I think actually that our guest is correct in saying that he has a national reputation. This does not deny the possibility, however, that in some specific localities, merely because of the frequency of appearance, he may be better known than in others.
Are you known possibly for some activity in the athletic field?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Bennett, he said he didn't move.
Now, the question was move about.
oh, that's what I was thinking.
I made a point of stressing that I was taking the phrase literally there, Dorothy, so don't be misled.
Well, I'm going to leave that. Do you do what you do indoors?
Yes.
Would you ever do it before a television or film camera?
Yes.
Would you appear on the television screens?
Yes.
Are you identified with any product?
Yes.
Hi, pal.
It sure isn't the Remington razor.
Are you
He's a little shaver.
Now, actually, I think our guest here was not in accord with your term of reference, Dorothy. I think you have reference here to a sponsorship of a television program or radio program, etc. He has no specific identification with a sponsor in those terms or a product in those terms.
So that's no.
That's a no. So that
Jim,
gives you a
take it
nice
away.
7 down and 3 to
Good
go,
luck.
Mr. Backus.
Are you more musical?
Yes.
In other words, you're a singer.
No.
Very good, Mr. Backus. That's 8 down and 2 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you a pianist?
Yes.
Have you played in the circus ever? Are you that little boy that wears the Lord Fauntleroy suit?
No.
That's 9 down and 1 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Besides playing the piano, have you ever conducted an orchestra?
Yes.
Gosh, I know you, but I can't remember the name. Frankly, I'll have to pay.
Bennett, I think we'll have to give it to you. Actually, Joey Alfidi is the world's youngest symphony conductor. You may take off your mask.
I'm sorry, I couldn't remember your name.
He is
You can do
also
the
a-
same to me sometime.
Joey is also a very fine young gentleman. Dorothy, I rushed to explain that move about to me meant moving off one place. Actually, he moves when he conducts, but he does not move off his basic position.
Well,
Yes?
I was thinking of rock and roll, and I think that got, Elvis Presley sort of got me.
I think Joey's music a little bit
Yes.
antedates rock
Joey,
and
could
roll.
I ask Joey a question? Joey, in the confidence of this room and 30 million people, what do you think of rock and roll?
I don't like it.
Good for you.
Now, I do think a great many of us know Joey by reputation. You are blindfolded, by the way, because I know Miss Kilgallen knows Joey. She's interviewed him, which is why we had to ask you to put on blindfolds. He's 8 years old. In addition to his conducting, he's a virtuoso on a number of musical instruments, including the piano, which he started playing when he was 3 years old. Right, Joey?
Yes.
And his next appearance, he's conducted the New York Philharmonic. Next Saturday, he conducts the Symphony of the Air. Is that right?
Yes.
I wish I had had half of your ability at 65. Joey, you've been a wonderful guest, and thank you very much for being our guest in What's My Line. It's been wonderful to have you. And this is the program Joey gave me of the concert that he does in Carnegie Hall next Saturday evening at 8:30 o'clock. Be nice if all of America could be there to see him and to hear him.